All right, so we are back to my transfer case fiasco. The 208 did not work. I had a bunch of intricate how-to footage of doing a hack and tap on my new process 208 for a square body. I ended up cutting it twice because I wanted to be sure I was perfect with the measurements. That is the piece of shaft I cut off. That is about 3 inches. I estimate I saved at a minimum 4 inches of dry shaft length, or added 4 inches of dry shaft length. And now I can run a CV rear shaft and pitch the pinion up a bit. Unfortunately, my old phone was a big turd and I lost all the footage, all the video. So I have some video of how I finished it, but you can kind of see there is my hack and tap for a 208. You too can use a transfer case that most people think is garbage. I will add the rest of the footage I have of doing the hack and tap. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of footage. I was very mad. Very mad. Does not even describe how annoyed I was. Anywho, now I have a new cell phone with a ton more storage because GoPros are for professionals. Anywho, on to the footage that I have left. Hopefully this helps somebody because I figured there's going to be like 4 people that watch this video. Anywho, good luck with your project. I did not bore you with the details of tapping the hole in the output shaft, but yes, it sucks. Take your time. Don't break a tap off. That would really be terrible. Take my word for it. And yes, that is a sock I use to protect the shaft. Now, I'm going to weld that random washer in this yoke to make my custom slip yoke hack and tap. Exciting stuff. I am using my Lincoln flux core welder that I have had forever. I'd like to think I am quite good with this welder. I've always been happy with the results. It is not welding as well as I would like, but I think it's going to be okay. Yeah. What do you think? This last spot. We'll let it slowly cool, and then we'll clean it up. I feel the flux core is better suited for this work because it deals with the impurities between the two metals. Dissimilar grade of steel, better than regular MIG wire and gas. I could be wrong, but I've always had good luck. Now that the yoke is welded and slowly cooling off, I'm going to get a rough measurement of where to cut my tail housing. Come on. There we go. So that is seated on the support bearing for the tail shaft. I'm just going to measure down to the shaft. This is just a rough measurement to get started. I know I'm going to have to cut it shorter but this will get me closer and let me put the yoke on, and then I can get my final measurement. Here we go. All right. So I have that measurement. I'm going to lock this down and just use this as a scribe. Makes it much easier to scribe because you can see it so easy through all the grease. Now we have our rough marking to give it a cut. I've got my tail housing fairly secure. I'm gonna start cutting. I'm sure all the aluminum I just got in that bearing will be fine. I'll clean it out once it's all together. And we're back. So, tail housing is cut to length. I may have to make it a little shorter. I think the yoke is on all the way. I think the seal will be in the right spot. It is a Duralast 9449. I went with Duralast because that's the store that had it cheapest in stock in my town. And that is the stock seal for a 1985 K10 rear output seal. So it should just be stock. If I ever have a seal issue, I should be able to just get another one. It should not be a big deal. I am going to pull that tail housing cover back off and machine the output housing to accept the seal. Fun stuff. Here is what I came up with. I screwed this down to the 4x4 to make it a little easier to work with because the vent hose sticks down and I did not want to break the seal. I started with this rasp bit that I'm sure is for wood, this large tooth bit for cleanup, and then I really polished it and got the size really dialed in with the sandpaper bit. I have collected these things from yard sales and flea markets over the years. None of these things are new, for sure. But the seal fits very well. Hopefully. Just snug enough that it'll hold. I'm gonna put a very thin layer of RTV around it and it'll be fine. Little cleanup, and then I will finish assembling. We're back again. So, I couldn't resist. I cleaned up the housing a little bit. I also cleaned out the inside. I actually locked this bearing up. I ended up having to spray it out with brake clean and WD-40. Thought I had it, blew it out with compressed air, and eventually got the junk out of it. But it is fine now. All right. this is what I do when I install a new seal. I like to put a little grease behind the seal to hold the spring in. I've had a few instances where the force of putting the seal in knocks the spring loose, and then you're kind of screwed. You don't have to pack the whole compartment with grease, but you want to make sure it's plenty. I'm sure that is good enough. I will take my dirty paper towel, wipe the seal off. All right. I'm using the Right Stuff 90-minute gasket maker. Just a thin coat to fill any gaps that I may have. Try not to drop it. All right. Put it in place, wipe your fingers off. I have my seal driver ready. This is not the right hammer, but it's going to work just fine. The seal actually goes in a little easier than I would like. So the Right Stuff is going to help keep that seal in place. Plus the added benefit of helping with any leaks. Then I like to grease up the seal. So there's no dry start on that. I will grease the yoke up as well. Again, just a super thin layer of RTV. These holes actually go through the case and will leak oil. All the way around. And really, I have already put on too much RTV. I will spread it around again. Do not want any leaks. Most people put gobs and gobs of silicone on, and it is just not necessary. These are machine surfaces. I will even wipe a little out from around the edge. All right, seal housing. Get it over the bearing. Nope, can't do any of that yet. Because I haven't put the rest of the guts in. No one's perfect, folks. No one's perfect. We'll be right back. And we're back. So this is the oil pump. These are speedometer gears. I'm pretty sure this is an oil slinger. This oil pump can only be installed one way. It just fits down in there. Now I can assemble it. Maybe. There it goes. Never tap on these with a hammer. They should go on nice and easy. Should always make sure your holes are lined up as well. Again, not a how-to, this is just how I'm doing it. Always torque everything to spec. Never drive the bolts in with an impact. And torque to spec. Sorry about the interruption from my beautiful wife. She is out for the day and I am unsupervised. So I like to put a little bit of RTV on the inside of the yoke just to ensure there's no issues. I greased up the seal already. I have this all ready. I do actually hate touching this stuff. It is a necessary evil. For some reason, my yoke has a sweet spot that I actually wiped off, apparently. It was around here somewhere. Not quite what I meant to happen with the RTV. Then again, I am not normally doing a hack and tap. Get the goo out of there. I don't know what RTV and Loctite are going to do or how they're going to react, but we're going to find out. All right, I have a 1-inch grade 8 3/8 bolt, coarse thread. I'm gonna put probably an excessive amount of Loctite. That should do it. And of course, the socket is never where you need it. Let me grab a socket. Right here. Let's see. I'm going to leave the extension on as kind of to reduce the torque a little bit. All the ugga-duggas. And now I have a GM square body 208 transfer case with a slip yoke eliminator. I really like 1310 CVs, so that's what this yoke is. So swapped the front to a 1310 CV. It works out, they are for Jeep slip yoke eliminator kits. they fit perfectly. I am very excited to have this done. I can get the transfer case back in the truck and move on to my next project. Have a great day.